I the a-hole for getting my sister uninvited from our cousin's wedding because she tried to wear my original wedding dress? Let me start by saying I, 27 female, got married last year. It was a small, intimate ceremony with just close friends and family. My wedding dress wasn't designer or extravagant, but I designed it myself with the help of a local seamstress. It had a deep personal meaning. Hand-embroidered blue flowers that symbolized my late grandmother who basically raised me. It wasn't about the price tag, it was about the thought, the symbolism, and the love sewn into every detail. It meant a lot. Now here comes the problem. My younger sister, we'll call her Alyssa, 24 female. We've always had a weird, exhausting relationship. Alyssa has made a hobby out of copying me. Not just a little sister phase, like full-time impersonation. Clothes, haircuts, favorite bands, hobbies, and even my handwriting at some point. Growing up, my mom thought it was adorable. Well, yeah, growing up. She just wants to be like her big sister. Except it wasn't flattering. It was invasive and relentless. I couldn't have a single thing for myself without it eventually being duplicated and passed off as her own style. You should have shaved your head and seen if she copied it. Put a little bald cap on, you know? To make it worse, Alyssa always somehow got praised for it. My mom would coo about how
creative she was
when she copied my art projects or wore my outfits a week later. And when I'd call it out, I was too sensitive. Even when Alyssa flirted with my actual boyfriends, oh hell no! While I was still with them, my mom said,
"You're overreacting. It's not that serious."
Spoiler alert, our dad cheated on our mom for years and she still stayed with him. So yeah, I see why it's not that serious. The bar of respect is subterranean in this family. And just to top it off, yes, she even tried it with my husband, the man I married. Before we were engaged, when we'd been dating a few months, Alyssa started joking with him a lot. Overly flirty, touching his arm constantly, saying things like,
"If you weren't taken,"
or
"You better treat her right or I'll have to swoop in."
Does that imply if you treat her like I'll take you? Always just barely towing the line so she could claim it was harmless. He told me about it, and honestly, that should have been the moment I cut her off completely. But my mom convinced me to let it go. Again.
She's just teasing. She's always been playful.
No, she's always been disrespectful and enabled. This is exactly why her behavior runs rampant. She never has to deal with consequences for how she treats others. So fast forward to this month. Our cousin Rachel is getting married and we're both bridesmaids. Everyone is excited and it's going to be a fun weekend. About a week before the rehearsal dinner, Alyssa sends me a selfie of the dress she's planning to wear to the dinner, all smiley and proud of herself. I open it, and for a second, I'm confused. Then my stomach drops. It's my wedding dress. I don't mean similar vibes or a similar color. I mean, it's my exact design. The same neckline I sketched by hand, the same embroidered blue flowers in the same pattern placement, the same silhouette, hemline, fabric choice. I literally worked with a seamstress for months, making sure the flowers were placed around the waist just right. And there it was. So wait, hold on. Was it the actual dress or did she just have a dress made to look like that? She found someone on Instagram and had it copied, like it was a Pinterest dress or something. And all she said was,
"Isn't this so cute?"
Oh, she baiting you for sure. I called her. I asked her calmly at first, "What on earth are you thinking?" Her answer,
"You're married. You wore it. Let someone else enjoy it."
Okay, no, that's a wedding dress. You would only be able to wear someone else's wedding dress if they wanted you to wear their wedding dress, probably for your own wedding, not someone else's wedding. She basically ripped off the most meaningful piece of clothing I've ever owned, and she wants me to be what? Flattered? No, babes. She's pushing your buttons. I told her flat out, if she wore that dress, I would tell Rachel and the whole family exactly where she got it. And I'd show up to the rehearsal dinner in a full-length white gown with a train and veil just to be extra petty. She laughed. She actually laughed and told me I was being childish. Okay, game on. So I messaged Rachel privately. I showed her the screenshots and explained everything. Made it clear I wasn't trying to stir up drama, but I felt disrespected and blindsided. Rachel, bless her, was livid on my behalf. She said Alyssa had no business pulling something like that right before someone else's wedding and told me she'd handle it. A day later, Alyssa was officially uninvited from the rehearsal dinner and the pre-wedding events. Cue the meltdown. My mom called me furious.
"How could you do that to your sister? It's just a dress."
Well, it wasn't your your choice. It was the bride's choice. Pretty sure the bride would not want someone else wearing a wedding dress to their rehearsal dinner. She accused me of being vindictive, said I embarrassed the family, and that I'm still holding on to childhood jealousy. Mind you, this is the same woman who let Alyssa walk all over me for decades and called it sisterly love. But here's the kicker. Alyssa showed up anyway. She wasn't invited. Rachel made that clear. But she thought she could just show up and play the victim. Act surprised, say there was a miscommunication. She did show up to the rehearsal dinner wearing a knockoff version of my dress. This is a girl who has never been told no in her entire life. Your mom is doing her a disservice by making her think that the world will just bend to her will. The world is unfair. You can't do whatever you want. Her self-worth, it's based around like validation from other people. There is a part of her that looks up to you and sees the fact that, you know, everybody likes you. You're obviously very stylish and creative. She wants that same validation for her, but instead of like being creative herself, she's just copying other people. It's still weird and she needs to be told to stop. She had no shame. She was smug. Rachel didn't even blink. She pulled her aside and told her to leave. Security wasn't needed, but Rachel made it clear she wasn't welcome. Alyssa stormed out, posted some passive-aggressive nonsense on Instagram about
Jealous women.
and sisters who can't handle a little shine. You're stealing my shine. No, bestie, that's my favorite thing to say, and this does not apply here. I finally snapped and told my mom the truth. I'm tired of having to make myself small just to keep the peace. I let Alyssa copy me for years because I was told to be the bigger person. But copying my wedding dress, the one I designed in honor of my grandmother, was my line. And she bulldozed right over it. For the record, the dress wasn't just a dress. It was one of the only things that felt mine in a family that constantly blurred lines between sharing and stealing. I put love, grief, and meaning into that dress. It honored someone who made me feel seen when no one else in our family did. And instead of respecting that, Alyssa treated it like it was an aesthetic she could lift for an Instagram photo. So yeah, I put my foot down for once. And now my family's acting like I'm the a-hole, and I burned the house down because I finally lit a match. So am I the a-hole for getting her uninvited? She got herself uninvited, bestie. She literally did the exact thing she was told not to do, and she's surprised that she's uninvited? So we do have an update.